What's up, guys? So just finishing up training our pool day number 2 for the current split, current rotation, which I'm going to tell you all about right after you hit that like, subscribe, share, all those YouTube-y things you guys do to help this channel grow. I appreciate it. Look at this product placement. Drink Total War. But anyway, today was pool day number 2. So before I get into the nitty gritty, if you haven't seen the video basically on my new current split, which is really Terrence's current split, make sure you watch that, because if you watch this video and you see the order that I go in, you're going to be this dumb. He is going against all bro rules as far as the order of a pool day. He's starting with biceps. He skipped a meathead day at school and is doing stuff that is just cardinal sins. So again, watch it, because hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. Again, my split always revolves around Terrence. He is some weeks out from the Arnold, some weeks out from the Olympia. I'll get an exact number so I can keep tally right, but somewhere 12, 13, 14 weeks or so out, where at this point in time, basically, we're just slowly cranking up the intensity, cranking up the volume even a little bit from session to session. While his recovery is maxed out right now, we're going to take full advantage of putting as much tissue on. Again, he's coming off of a little bit of a surgery. I think 4 or 5 weeks off total. We're basically, I think, in our 3rd or 4th week back to training, and everything's coming back fast. So again, if you haven't seen that, check out Terrence Ruffin's YouTube channel, and he can give a little bit more detail about the surgery that he had to have and why. But as far as today goes, we have a pool day that we've already done earlier in this week that's basically more of a traditional pool day, where we're starting with heavy rows, heavy pull downs, there's a deadlift variation, and then work our way into rear delts and biceps. That being said, the priorities for Terrence this year are basically the same as last year. As much as we're closing the gap and his physique is getting more and more balanced, if you haven't looked from his competitive career from his first win, which I think is 2017, up to 18, 19, 20, and now his physique keeps getting more and more balanced. Obviously getting second last year at the Arnold, second last year at the Olympia. There's only one spot left to move up. And if you look at his physique from those shows, very, very balanced, but we're still looking to put just a little bit more size on the arms, a little bit more size than the delts, and even just upper body in general. I don't think Terrence's legs are ever going to be something that he needs to bring up, especially relative to his competition. So to do that, in the past, we've basically done traditional push-pull lower splits, adding in a delt day, adding in an arm day. So that's in some way, shape, or form what this new split really entails. But instead of basically having a pure arm or a pure delt day, I'm doing, for lack of a better term, which I'm making up right now, doing kind of a reverse pull and a reverse push day. So somebody can coin that, and you can say that to sound really smart, even though it's not really anything that smart. Basically, all that it means is we're starting a pool day. So pool day, we're starting with biceps. It's essentially an arm day where we train a little bit of rear delts after biceps, and then a little bit of back even after rear delts. So the exercise selection matters, and the context of the whole rest of the week matters. And the same thing for our push day is essentially a tricep day, where then I incorporate a little bit of delts as well, too, a little bit of side delts mainly on that day, and then a pressing movement, something for chest as well, too, or maybe even a fly variation. But for today's session, starting with kind of the big meat and potatoes for biceps, we've always had some sort of preacher curl variation, and most of the time single arm, because it fits Terrence and myself better than trying to jam ourselves in on any type of fixed bar. So we were doing single arm preachers on a machine for a while. We're back to single arm preachers with a dumbbell now. And again, in my opinion, that's probably the single best mass builder for an exercise. Again, in case you're new here, basically I have a few principles that I look at as far as efficient exercise selection. How well does it align, meaning how well does it target the muscle you're trying to train? How well does it listen to the joints that are involved, as far as is it going to be orthopedically healthy for a long period of time? How is its bracing? Meaning, is there any limiting factors for how much force production you can have in it? And how is its profile? And profile basically just means how an exercise expresses force at the trained joint and in turn the trained muscle. And does that match what your body's capable of doing? All that's relatively complicated, but look around at some of my videos and you'll figure all of it out. It's not that bad. And so again, with all those things on paper, preacher curls are just an awesome exercise. The pad is the bracing, so it keeps things locked in and still. So all the force and weight from that dumbbell goes to the biceps. Because it's single arm, you can basically make it align perfect, and the profile is great as well too. It's really heaviest right in the mid-range where your biceps are strongest, and lighter on the ends, particularly the lightest as you come into that fully short and contracted position. So basically 2 working sets there. You'll see pretty much all of our stuff, the way I track volume, is training basically everything to failure. So I just count basically failure sets. So 2 working sets, obviously, per arm there. Then we went and do basically a hammer curl variation. We've done this with dumbbells in the past. We've even done it with a Swiss bar. I'm doing a cable variation right now, and basically the same reason. Very good for alignment and quicker than doing one arm at a time with dumbbells. As much as that lines up well, I'm also an impatient meathead, same as everybody else. And I hate doing one arm at a time just because it's tedious. I'd rather have things go faster. So that's a benefit of cables. If I can do 2 arms at the same time, obviously it doesn't take as long. So those rope ones feel really good, just getting that more neutral position as I'm curling. We did 3 working sets there. Again, sets to failure, where you can't have a spotter. Sometimes you'll see me doing partials as well. And then from there, basically just did a superset to finish biceps. And again, when I say finish, just something that, again, I'm not going to track and logbook, but still training in a close proximity to failure. Sometimes I'll incorporate drop sets, supersets, trisets. Those things will be different. So we'll keep the preacher curls, we'll keep the hammer curls for probably long periods of time, logbook them, try and progress them when possible. And then what we do to kind of finish after that is going to rotate and change kind of from session to session. And in case you're new here, I like that one just because I like doing it. I like having something a little bit different in my program from time to time. But I also just like the fact that you can accomplish similar goals with different exercises. And so goals on that one, basically just doing an incline curl was part of the superset, training that bicep basically in a fully lengthened position. And then also just supersetting that with a pronated curl. So again, changing hand position is going to change which elbow flexors you're biasing to a certain degree. And so just if you look at obviously over the course of the workout, we had a supinated position, neutral position, pronated position. We trained something in a fully lengthened position as well too. So just about as much effective variety as you can have from a bicep training standpoint. And that was biceps. Then from rear delts, we went into a high cable rear delt raise, whatever the hell you want to call it, this type of dealie. And so basically just did 3 working sets there. Same thing. You can't spot somebody on that unless not without getting real comfortable, which, if you got to do it, you got to do it. But did 3 working sets there, extending sets with partials. And then to finish back, this is where exercise selection matters. Going to a rope pullover first. So obviously elbow flexors are a little fatigued. If you really know how to train back, you can pretty much take them completely out of it anyway. So I don't ever have a hard time keeping elbow flexors out of back movements. But a pullover is an extra great exercise, rope pullover variation, because again, you're completely taking your bicep out of it, basically just having the arm straight, elbow straight, and more fixed. So did 3-ish working sets on there. I also like that because looking over the course of the program, I wouldn't want to put some hugely taxing back movement in there. I wouldn't want a banded RDL or something, or a banded rack pull, or even just a heavy bent over row or something. Basically within the context of the whole program, as I'm kind of touching on or hitting back again, I want things that aren't too demanding on recovery, but I can still have, again, a lot of effect just local to the muscle and still train them relatively close to failure, without wrecking my whole body. Or again, if I had put another deadlift variation in, it might just be a lot over the course of a week. So pullover is great. Again, 1, coming out of a bicep exercises where they might be a little fatigued. But 2, it's one of my absolute favorite, just to more, isolate lats. And also to really train that lat in that fully shortened, fully contracted position as well too. And it's an efficient exercise selection because by changing body position, you can really get them to the full contractile range. I'm overloading them there short, but as I lean forward, and you'll see a lot of partial reps in that lengthened range, you're really loading the lat in the lengthened range there as well too. And then last one for back was rack chins. And again, that's something nice that gets some upper back musculature, definitely gets some lats involved as well too. And again, just basically 3 sets of body weight to failure on each one. So again, that's in and of itself, if back was really your priority, I probably wouldn't have someone do this reverse day like that, unless, like you said, you're in a similar boat to myself and Terrence, where again, especially for Terrence, his back is arguably right up there with his legs, his strongest body parts, and biceps and arms in general are still a priority. So again, within the context of us, most importantly, in the context of Terrence, it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, to start with those priority body parts somewhere within your split and then work into the other stuff that's not as much of a priority. And then you'll see in there supersetting abs and forms. Again, both pull days I'm going to have abs and forearm movement. And this one, just to keep it simple, on the pull day 1, I'm doing wrist flexion. On the pull day 2, I'm doing wrist extension. And I've talked about in that other video, the barbell doesn't fit me perfect. But this is one of those things I always tell people, like, obviously, if I'm giving people guidance and direction, I say this exercise over that direction. I'm trying to give the things that are going to benefit the highest percentage people watching, obviously thousands of people watching this stuff. What's going to help the highest percentage? I still am a human being the same as everybody else, and sometimes don't feel like doing the things that line up meticulous and perfect and all that. So that might be a little bit better if I was doing single arm, get myself in a little better position, 1 dumbbell at a time. But it's just tedious as hell, and I hate training forearms, as you can tell. And so again, just making myself do something consistently. So 3 rounds of that through real quick. One of my favorite ab exercises, pad crunches, superset with wrist extension with the barbell. And that was the workout. Terrence is off in the corner doing some posing, so maybe we'll catch a little bit of that. But that is that. And again, over the next, if you haven't seen it already, next week or 2, Again, you'll see every single one of these workouts basically start to finish. And then a lot of it's going to be very, very similar. We're trying to fine tune basically this first week or two if we're going to change out any big movements or not. But everything seemed to fit pretty damn well today. So I'm sure you're going to see these ones for the next week and hopefully just progressing them. And obviously seeing Terrence's physique, change continually as we get closer and closer to the Arnold first. And then the Olympia after that. So thank you all, as always, for watching. Thank you for sharing the page, giving me those thumbs up, the likes, and all that good stuff. I appreciate it. And until the next one. Fake, this way. See you later.
Drink total water.